Welcome, everybody, to the CCA League Season 6. It is week 3 here, and we're going to be jumping into a Division 4 matchup. I am DRF, joined by the one and only Mewtwo, and we have a battle of the oranges today, Mew.
Hi, it's me. I'm Mewtwo. I'm finally back on the mic after 3 weeks of begging and finally being asked to hop on this battle of oranges. You know, yeah, man, orange, yeah, woo, orange, woo, see, woo, yeah, orange, yeah. I love oranges. What's your favorite orange?
That's a great question. Oranges are just, I don't know, oranges are just delicious. I don't think that there's a like. You like the what?
The beige ones.
The beige ones?
Yeah,
what does that even? What does that even mean? I'm not even sure.
The orange ones.
Are there beige oranges?
Yeah, there is. Yeah. Just don't look it up.
I will not. If you tell me to not look something up, you do not have to tell me twice. So I will leave that be.
But yeah, I mean, today, Division 4, week 3, finally getting week 3 of the season. We're almost halfway there. We got the RIT Orange Kois from Rochester Institute of Technology and SplatSCAD Orange Team from the Savannah College of Art and Design, aka quote unquote, not really a college. Let's be honest. But we're starting into game one.
You can't.
Game one, Rainmaker Humpback. We see Umbrella. But on the other side, we see a Dreadringer and a Carbon Roller Deco. These are some very interesting comps we're looking at, Mr. DRF.
Well, it is going to be Rainmaker on Humpback Pump Track. And like you said, these are some pretty interesting comps. We do have the Dreadringer on both sides, which is the thing that immediately stands out. And is that the Recycle Umbrella?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Yeah. Don't ask me which one it is. Anyways, we see one go down on the side of the Orange Kois. We see SplatSCAD using some strikes to get into zone, facilitating this Carbon to rush down this Umbrella, getting the kill, fortunately. And now I think right now it's SplatSCAD's time to push, but unfortunately the 10 attack does go down, so maybe they're just going to wait for their teammate to come back into mid. And as we see, it's just a dogfight right now.
Yeah, it absolutely is. SCAD does still have the upper hand here, especially after taking down the splashdown player. And this should be an open field for SCAD, but they actually find themselves at a slight numbers disadvantage in mid. So it will be RIT Orange Kois that are able to kind of reestablish a little bit of positioning here. So it is just an all-out dogfight right now between these two teams. Neither one making that first move, trying to clear the way. But everyone's just getting back into the action quickly, especially with the help of that cooler on either side. So this fight, even though we're seeing a lot of players go down, we're consistently seeing Orange Kois go 2 down. It's going to take 1 minute and 20 seconds here for SCAD to finally pick up the Rainmaker. They're going to make their first move, but they're going to get collapsed in on. Will they be able to get the checkpoint? They're struggling to do so. Crescent trying to force it, but no, they get shut down right before they can get the first dunk of the game.
Yeah, honestly, I think SplatSCAD went a bit too slow with the Rainmaker push, and as we see, Orange Kois is going to immediately grab it and start pushing. We see the Dreadringer with that Reef Slider. If they could Reef Slide that corner into their SplatSCAD's court area, then that'd be huge. The Carbon Roller, unfortunately, does go down trying to rush forward, but they do get punished. We see all of SplatSCAD playing very back. You know, the strikes are forcing them to play backwards into their court, and the RIT Orange Kois are first to break the checkpoint.
That's going to be a huge opportunity for them, especially as Neutral is able to utilize that Reef Slider. And all the way down to 29 points remaining. That's actually a little bit more than I thought that the Orange Kois were going to get out of that push. They really maximized their opportunities. Despite losing 2 of their players, the Rainmaker just kept kind of chugging along, really just trying to drag their feet through the opposition's ink. And now SCAD's going to have an opportunity to respond here. The checkpoint will be claimed. It's going to be the Reef Slider coming in and finding 2, making 3. Joryu coming up big. Now it's just an open alley. Can Neutral get them in time? No, not going to be the case, but they do stop it in its tracks at 25 points remaining. So that's going to be a pretty big stop there for the Orange Kois, but they don't have the numbers to stop the next pop.
Yeah, they have the Reslider coming in. They took out the Carbon, which was really being a thorn in their side. And as we see, the rest of the members of SplatSCAD are just trying to get specials. The Dreadnought does grab the Rainmaker, start pushing it some more, down to 16. But unfortunately, they go down. I think SplatSCAD's push might have ended here. But 16 on a map like Rainmaker, it's good. But I think a few good wipes from RIT Orange Coys can definitely see the game flip back into their favor. But right now, the SplatSCAD Orange team is just trying to desperately get back into it. We see the Recycled Umbrella with that splashdown, trying to find someone to use it on, but unfortunately they cannot.
Yeah, and again, back to mid, back to a neutral state of the game. Another dogfight taking place. Both teams just chipping away at each other. But it's Orange Coys who has the special advantage. Crescent gonna be popping this cooler, but the trip strikes coming out in retaliation, not able to find anything. The flank coming around, looking for Crescent on the heavy edit, not going to be able to find that. They're going to back off and respect it and hold the corner for now. Orange Coys continue to hold on to these specials, right? Waiting for the right opportunity to use them. That splashdown just hovering right around the corner, waiting for somebody to bite so they could try to take down a couple of players at the same time. Finally, a couple players coming around the corner. The splashdown might come out any second now. No, not going to be the case there. Here comes Kirby now with that splashdown, is able to find two just like they planned out. And Kibri's going to be moving on up now. It's going to be an open road for the Orange Coys, but will they be able to get the lead? They need to get to 15 points remaining, but the Slosher comes in. A clutch play. Oh, stopped at 25 remaining, Mew. What a brilliant play, but this one's not over yet as Donkey has to drop it. There was someone behind them, but Donkey's going to keep running with this.
Yeah, I think the Brella was just a bit too caught up in RIT Orange Coy's, base. But as we see the Carbon Roller trying to fend off this Dreadringer right now, who is the only person there, but they are going to be taken down. The Carbon Roller does have that Zuka ready. The Dreadringer has that Reef Slider, so they have basically two specials to stop the RIT Orange Coys in their place. We're going to see the Zuka ripped right now. One more shot remaining. And we see the Reef Slider being burnt already, but I think RIT Orange Coys has a lot to go through, and especially 2 down, they can't really push the Rainmaker right now. And they, it's important to note that they only have 30 seconds left.
Yeah, it is going to be really tricky to navigate this, but they do find 2 picks, but 2 in return. Oh, everybody's going down now. Everyone's collapsing in on these fights. Retrograde doing a fantastic job of protecting the Rainmaker with their life. And this is going to come down to these last couple seconds. 15 remaining. They have to round this corner. Seems like somebody might have dropped on that left-hand side. This is going to come down to the wire, folks. Here comes the Reef Slider to try to put this one away. No, not going to be able to do so just yet. Retrograde backed all the way up. Finally shut down. We basically got a whole 6 minutes of action out of that one, Mew, but it is going to be SCAD who takes the first game of the set.
Yeah, I think, SCAD just played some really great defense at the end when RIT Orange Coys started to push. They weren't really throwing their bodies at the Orange Coys, and instead they played like a team, which is something that you really want to see. And as we see, this is the start of the SplatSCAD push with those trip strikes, being able to force the members of the Orange Coys back into the court just for a few seconds to get Joryu positioned here with the Reef Slider ready, in which was able to find a crucial triple. We see 2 from the Reef Slider and 1 more on the Zap, and it was just some great positional play, getting the trip strikes to allow the Dreadringer to come in, which facilitated the triple, which facilitated the push, and then as we saw, the push in, and they kept pushing to I believe it was 19, and it was just great teamwork on display here.
Absolutely. I mean, Joryu here with the insert sponsor moment of the game, as you would typically see on ESPN, TNT, or whatever your choice of sports network is. Honestly, hey, sponsors out there, just help us fill in that blank. we can make it a thing, because Joryu just really had the staple moment there from game number 1.
Yeah, and now let's moving forward to game 2. Clan Blitz on Inkblot Art Academy. I think with the way both of these teams played, I felt like they were both kind of playing very hesitant at the start. Even
they
when
were
like 2 were down, I believe, on the side of the Orange Coys due to the great play from the Carbon. They didn't really immediately grab the Rainmaker and start pushing. I think they always want to wait for all of their team members to get back into mid, get some specials, and start pushing. But I think, in order to win, you just need to play aggressive when there's a numbers advantage.
I certainly agree with that, Mew. I think that it was a little bit of a, just feeling each other out is what that beginning couple,
Whoa.
80 seconds was about. As as both of those
Each
teams
other?
just I mean, you know what I mean, but they both were just really hesitant to make a move, even when they did have the numbers. And I really think that in a way that was a testament to the Orange Kois, who just, even though they only had one person standing, SCAD was kind of scared to move on it. And it worked out for the Orange Kois, who managed to get that early lead. They got that first checkpoint despite SCAD having the early opportunities in their favor. So I don't know. It was definitely a little bit interesting to watch how both of those teams were trying to figure out what the strategy was, and then that's when things started to break open. But nonetheless, game 2 on deck. We're going to be jumping on in here. It will be Clamblitz on Inkblot Art Academy, taking a look at the composition adjustments, most notably looking over at the Orange Kois, who are bringing out that Paintbrush Nouveau and the Squeezer, two pretty different weapons from what they were previously running.
Yeah, and let's see if that adjustment is going to help them take this game. We see the Carbon immediately from SplatSCAD in mid, trying to shark those boxes on the right currently. We see the Paintbrush on the right. We might see a team fight immediately on the right. Carbon expertly takes down one. They might take down the other, but no, they go down to the bucket in mid. RIT Orange Kois stopped the bleeding, took down 2. It's SplatSCAD almost make it 3. The bucket picks up 3. The last one's the heavy edit. And I think now is the time for the RIT Orange Kois to pick up some clans and get moving.
Yes, they are going to be able to start making a move here. Never Lucky trying to paint a path for Retrograde to get in, and Retrograde does slam that first clam home, as now Donkey trying to just hold down the front lines, able to find 1, able to find 2 there. Retrograde going to come around for them, but that's going to be a jump out. So it's a 1+3 in this opening push for the RIT Orange Kois. They are now going to be holding their plat, waiting for a response out of SCAD. SCAD coming in with that trip strike. Now Smalley's going to be able to get a couple of quick shots on Never Lucky, but not able to finish this one off. And they're actually going to be the one called out instead, and SCAD goes 2 down. So RIT Orange Kois looked to have been in a bit of a tricky position there, but managed to capitalize on the missed shots from SCAD, and now find themselves with a little bit of favor here. Of course, as I say that, the tide turns yet again as SCAD finds a double.
I think now we're gonna try and see some players trying to do try and break through their team's defenses. We see Donkey on that Carbon, trying 3 players from SplatSCAD on that left box. We see the Carbon roller with that Zuka, ready to use it, but the heavy edit does go down, and so does the Carbon. It's 2 down from SplatSCAD. RIT Orange Kois is playing some impeccable defense right now, and now they're starting to press on the gas a little bit, but now they just need to wait these strikes out, and they do need to watch out for that Reef Slider on the side of SplatSCAD.
Yeah, that Reef Slider waiting for an opportunity. Joryu has come up big already in this set early with that Reef Slider, waiting for an opportunity to be able to launch it and capitalize, get the most bang for your buck. But going to continue to be patient here as Kirby's going to be able to get up onto Bats, gets called out really quickly by Crescent, who has full control of this mushroom and just overseeing all of the land in Inkblot Art Academy. Now, that's going to be SCAD's opportunity. 2 members go down on the side of RT Orange Kois, slowly moving up. Crescent's going to clear out this left-hand side. It is 15 clams to SCAD's name right now, but everybody on the Orange Kois back into action quickly, just hovering right around that basket, making sure that nobody can make their move quite yet. And Donkey actually got the fall off with the Carbon. You don't get to see that very often.
Yeah, and now we see Donkey trying to take this fight with the Squeezer. Squeezer is forced to go back up to Bats, but this just gives SplatSCAD the opportunity to score. They score 1 Power Clam. We see the Carbon having 4 more, but unfortunately they get caught by the point sensor from the Paintbrush, and now they're forced to retreat. SplatSCAD's push is already over. They only scored 1 Power Climb. The Carbon doesn't even escape. They go down, and now RT Orange Kois is back on the offense. They have 2 specials ready, and I think they could definitely put some damage in with if they just get some good picks and maybe even a wipe.
Certainly. I really thought that that push by SCAD was well thought out. They were very patient and capitalized on, some of those opportunities. But RIT Orange Coys just had better defense. They were, especially with the placement of some of those subs, just to be able to call out, players like Donkey. They really did a good job of just maximizing the opportunity to shut down the push. And now with a minute to go, a very low scoring game between these two teams on Inkblot Art Academy. And this could come down to the next push. I think there's one more push to be had in this game, and it's gonna come from whichever team is going to ultimately win this game. So Donkey's gonna actually try to initiate this now by moving on up, trying to call out neutral, able to do so with the help of their teammate Retrograde underneath that basket. 2 power clams in the name of RIT Orange Coys, but it's going to be SCAD that's moving up, and it's a 2v2 situation now. Retrograde and neutral doing everything they can to juggle both of these power clams and hold down the defensive front so that SCAD can't get underneath the basket. Neutral gonna be coming up onto this snipe area, now trying to drop down, holding down that ramp, making sure that nobody can pass. Teammates starting to move on up, 2 down, make that 3 down on the side of SCAD. RIT Orange Coys now have a window of opportunity. They're going to start moving up. They see the window here. They're going to try to dunk this one and put it out of reach. The Squeezer moving on in. Retrograde following up, and that is going to do it on this one. It should be it. I don't see a way that SCAD follows up on this, and there's the final clam. RIT Orange Coys ties this one up in game 2.
Yeah, no, that was some really great play, great offense, and probably even a greater defense. I was getting kind of worried towards the end from the RT Orange Coys because it felt like they just kind of allowed SplatSCAD's teammates that went down to just jump back into mid for free. They weren't really contesting mid, but they just found picks after picks, and it just really helped them out in the end. I think it was a definite change from game 1, where I think RIT Orange Coys was playing great defense. It was just that one time on that Rainmaker humpback push where the Dreadringer got that triple that allowed the SplatSCAD to just kind of run away with the game. But here we saw, they just played so, I think the comp adjustment really helped them a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I certainly agree. I do like the adjustments that they made coming into this game. It just felt like they were playing a little bit faster with, having that a little bit of extra range on that squeezer as well. So I really thought that this composition worked well for them. It just seemed like it went hand in hand. So excuse me. So it will be a tied game at the end of this second one. Looking towards game 3 now, we will have Manta Maria Splat Zones on deck. So this is going to be another interesting one that I'm curious to see how these teams continue to make the adjustments. As so far we've seen, SplatSCAD content with the composition they've been running, but now that they've lost one, are we going to see a couple of those adjustments? RIT Orange Coys has already been relatively flexible in these opening 2 games. So what else do they have in their arsenal that will continue to give them that upper hand?
Yeah, I think if you're SplatSCAD, even though you lost, I think the heavy edit is still a great play because, especially on a map like Manta Maria, you could just sit on the top grades, and if the Orange Coys runs their same comp, the only thing that could really actively contest them would be the Squeezer and the Zuka, but I feel like there's just a lot of you could just hide behind the mast or just position yourself around the top mast in order to avoid the shots coming in. So I think definitely the RT Orange Coys, if they do not bring a weapon like that Squeezer or like a special like the Zuka, will have a hard time getting rid of the heavy edit.
Mm-hmm. Certainly. And as we look towards like the keys to victory that these teams have shared with us, one thing that the Orange Coys did highlight was the number one key was use our flexible team comps to our advantage. And we'd already seen that in those first 2 games, Mew, that we've as we talked about. So they're going to continue to just start bringing things out. I mean, we saw the recycled Brella, and they are big recycled fans, as they have also shared with us. So they also hinted at Big Swig as well. So I'm curious to see if there is a place for the Big Swig in any of these maps. Especially with something like Splat Zones, I could see it being an opportunity, but Manta Maria might not be as friendly for it. So it really sounds like that RIT, the sky is the limit. Sheldon basically needs to be on deck, ready to bring out anything, and anything indeed, as we see some massive adjustments from both of these teams.
Yeah, we see an S blast, a well string, and a tri-slosher Nouveau coming in from the orange cores. But on SplatSCAD, we do see that heavy edit, but we do see a custom blaster and a regular tri-slosher. So battle of the tri-sloshers, we see one of the tri-sloshers from SplatSCAD in mid. The blaster does unfortunately go down, but we see that heavy edit in that bunk, but they do get taken down by the blaster immediately. Oh my goodness, it is not looking good for SplatSCAD right now.
It certainly is not, as Neutral doing a great job in the early game, just commanding the pace for the Orange Koi. Slowly just pushing up is the rest of the team, but finally going to call out a couple of players here. The trip strikes at the ready, trying to force members of the Orange Koi back. Smalley looking for Neutral here, but realizes that they're not going to be winning this range fight. As now it's going to be the right zone going back and towards SCAD's favor. Smalley trying to see if they can help neutralize the other zone, but not in a position to do so, and all on their own. They're going to get called out for it. So Donkey now going to have to play from behind enemy lines. Not going to be able to find much there. It seems like a bit of a stagger on the side of SCAD now. They need to clear out some of these Orange Koi players. Donkey finally going to be able to find one and has to use this Inkjet to see if they can find anything else, but they're gonna get called out by the blaster again.
Yeah, I mean, this blaster has been going kind of crazy this entire game, and as we see, RIT Orange Koi once again takes back the zone. There is no penalty applied, so we're getting closer and closer to a knockout. One goes down on the side of SplatSCAD. It might just be over now since they're trapped in their street. The S-Blast is camping their bunk, and they can't move up there. They can't even get to zone right now, and it's over. It's over. Oh my lordy. RIT Orange Koi sending a message this game 3, knocking out 100-0, not even letting SplatSCAD even sniff the zone, not even letting them play the game.
Yeah, they did let them play the game. That's as simple as you could put it, Mew. They just locked them out right away. It was a great, 1-2 punch there from the S-Blast and the Tri-Slosher to really hold down the front line. And we just saw a lot of those SCAD players find themselves on an island that ultimately ended up having tsunamis come in at all angles to overwhelm them. So they just never quite got their footing. And it was all RIT Orange Koi from the first second to that KO. So they're going to be taking the upper hand now, 2-1 in this set. So SCAD, looked really good in that first game. That second game was really balanced right until the very end, but this one, it started to fall apart. So is this just a huge momentum swing in RIT Orange Koi's favor?
I mean, I feel like the RIT Orange Koi must be feeling really good about that one. Games 1 and 2 were very competitive, but I think game 3, that one really, like, it felt like it changed the tone a lot of this set, and I think they're gonna take this energy, they're gonna move it into the next map, and I think RIT Orange Koi, I like how they're constantly trying to adjust their comp, but I think you just need to stick with what worked, to be honest.
Do they need to stick with what's been working? What's been working for them is these, just for lack of a better term, like Frankenstein compositions, because they could basically take any spare parts and put it together, and it is going to be an RIT Orange Koi composition. Like, it's everything's working for them. Yes, game 1 they did lose, but I don't think that was necessarily like a composition didn't work or anything like that. I think that's just the nature of how RIT Orange Koi plays. They want to keep the other team guessing, and I think that's where SCAD is starting to kind of stumble now. Is like, how do you make adjustments when you have no idea what your enemy's next move is?
Yeah, my bad. I meant SplatSCAD, dog. I'm gonna be honest, but I totally agree. I think RT Orange Koi can just surprise you with anything and everything, and it's I feel like it's hard to try and predict what's next. You're probably gonna need to go to like a psychic and pay an overpriced amount of money just to even have a chance to know what they might run. So I think moving into Hammerhead Tower Control. How did this get here? How did this get on the map list? Hold on. I
It's
gotta talk. I gotta talk to someone.
consider it just a little bit of spice added to the list. Tower control hammerhead on deck here to balance out a couple of the tower control picks that this game has already limited us on. But let's jump on in, Mew. First thing that's going to jump out again are a lot of these composition changes. Sheldon is working overtime today as we see just everything get pulled out here. We've got a Splash, we've got an E-Leader, we've got the Heavy Splatling, we've got the Glugadecos. Like, what else can these teams play?
Yo, dog. At this point, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna expect next. Grigo down on the side of the orange coins. SplatSCAD finally, getting to start a push of their own, right? But we see the triple ink strikes from the bucket, but no one's there to stop the tower right now. So if you use the triple ink strikes right now, then it's more or less just of SplatSCAD can just get off the tower and get back on because there's no pressure being put. But now we see pressure being put. We see one go down on both sides. We see the Zuka coming out. We see an E-Leader holding that wave breaker, getting pushed right now by this slosher. No one's really able to help the E-Leader out since a lot of the SplatSCAD's team is on the right. But when we see the splatter shot moving back to the left, and SplatSCAD is once again back in control of mid.
Yeah, and a very neutral game early on. SCAD does have the upper hand with that first checkpoint in their favor, but the first checkpoint doesn't mean a whole lot on Hammerhead. It's going to really come down to the space between that second and third checkpoint that will determine this game. But if neither team can get the upper hand, maybe this does become a one checkpoint game. SCAD does now go 2 down, so Orange Koi is going to find this opportunity to start moving up, but this Booyah Bomb is going to slow down Orange Koi's, but they're going to go ahead and retaliate, trade for trade, but they do get the extra pick, which gives them the upper hand now, and this will be the first checkpoint cleared for RIT. So the lead back in RIT's favor. And it's going to go down to 70 remaining, but it's just a game of specials right now, Mew, as the specials are just really forcing these teams to take this tower nice and slow.
Yeah, and as we see, SplatSCAD's ripping the crab immediately, but RIT Orange Coins has 3 on board when this crab is done. It's not really finding much use. The bucket's pressuring, but they do go down. I'm not sure if that was the correct play to make, and as we see, the S-Blast on the left being helped by their teammates, and RIT Orange Coins is still holding mid. Oh, what a great snipe from the leader, finding the Zuka. And now SplatSCAD has 2 specials on board. They've already ripped one. Are they gonna rip the Booyah Bomb? They find the Splash, the machine's in mid, and I think it's back to another neutral state right now.
It is. I think for our purposes here, this is effectively a tied game, as both teams have that first checkpoint. Neither's really made a move up onto the ramp of the other team yet. So with 3 minutes already down, the last 2 minutes here is just going to come down to whichever team can reach that second checkpoint first, it feels like. As SCAD does have 2 specials at the ready, they're going to force Neutral into an awkward position there, but Neutral's going to be able to get that trade out. And now SCAD, once again, finding themselves on the back foot, but Donkey's going to be able to pick off Never Lucky. So we're continuing to just have trade for trade, pick for pick, and with a minute and a half to go, it is anybody's game, and one wrong move is going to just swing this in the other direction, but that's going to be a 3 down on the side of RIT Orange Coins. So SCAD will get the lead here, Mewtwo, and this game now is taking a very interesting turn.
Yeah, SplatSCAD now has a chance to extend their lead. They finally reached the second checkpoint, and it looks like it's going to be uncontested. The S-Blast does find one on the side of SplatSCAD, but they do unfortunately go down. The SplatSCAD is rapidly approaching this third checkpoint. Smalley is just dancing on this tower. RIT Orange Coins is trying to do their best to stop them. They find one, they can't even find one with the Zuka right now, as SplatSCAD breaks the third checkpoint. I thought this game would be a bit of a more neutral stance, but as we see, SplatSCAD is going to just knock it out on this map that you say that you added for spice, but I think the spice is relish, my dog. That doesn't, it's not, it's spice. It's something, man.
All I will say is that this was not my choice.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
Okay,
So,
God.
regardless, I really did think that the 3 minute neutral game that we had was fascinating. It was just both teams continuing to find two down situations, and I thought that the special management out of both teams was executed perfectly in the first 60% of this game. Like every time we saw a team that's finally seemed like they got the upper hand, the one or two players that were left trying to defend the push had those specials at the ready. They were patient and then were able to push them back. Like, I mean, we saw a couple times that like those booyah bombs came into play and were able to stall a push out. The Zuka a couple of times as well really stalled out the push. And it wasn't until we saw that 3 down plus the jump out, the effective wipeout, that we finally saw SCAD in this case take control of the driver's seat and just take the tower all the way in to Orange Koi's base to give them the win and once again tie up this set.
Yeah, I mean, I think SplatSCAD, you could definitely tell that they were not affected by how Game 3 went, by the way that they, responded. I think they all, took some time, took some deep breaths, realized that the set isn't over, and responded like that. I think, it really just shows the mental fortitude of each of these teams. And I think the mental game is something that, is very important in a game like Splatoon. It's very easy to get discouraged. But as we saw, SplatSCAD, they just rallied the troops together. They did their thing. They worked together as a team, and it got them a really nice knockout on Hammerhead TC.
Yes, it certainly did. So now we started with this best of 7. It's tied 2-2. So effectively, we're going to have a best of 3 to bring us home as we look towards game number 5, which will be Robo Ramen Rainmaker. This one definitely Robo Ramen Rainmaker is always pretty interesting to me, as especially when you kind of get that big struggle in mid early on, and then once eventually both these teams break through that first checkpoint, it's just a big game of tug of war. And it's going to come down to a game of inches with the way that these two teams have been playing. So that's what I'm going to be really fascinated by. But I mean, again, given how these two teams are playing, it's probably going to be a while for both teams to secure that first checkpoint.
Yeah, I think it will just come down to who gets the good wipe first, and I think after you get the wipe, it's a very easy way to get to the checkpoint immediately. So I think both of these teams, they have their strengths, and I think I think it just comes down to who coordinates the specials better and who takes the better team fight at the start. And this map can snowball very, very quickly.
Now, Mewtwo, I do have a quick question for you here, because as I looked at SCAD's keys to victory and information that they shared with us before this set, they did say that one of their players absolutely loves, in all capital letters, loves Clash Blaster. Is there a place for Clash Blaster in this set or in any of these upcoming map modes? Like, does Clash Blaster have a place here at the table?
I like big oily men, so I think that Clash Blaster does have a place in the map. I think honestly, with the way Zuko works and how it could be just such a potent special, I think it can definitely have a place in this map. I'm not sure moving forward in the rest of the maps, but definitely here getting into game 4, let's just see what these teams are going to pull out. Now we see is a tent umbrella, and as we see on SplatSCAD, we have a normal custom range blaster with that Kraken. So we see Kraken on Kraken action from both teams right now.
Fascinating. Okay, so really going to be relying on creating some of those ink paths post checkpoint to clear things out. So both teams kind of keeping a similar mind here. The Reef Slider making its return on the side of the Orange Kois as well. So the Orange Koi specials is what I think we kind of would have expected out of them. But the addition of the Kraken, I think this is the time that first time that both these teams are running Kraken, if I'm not mistaken. But Orange Kois are going to be the first one to grab this Rainmaker, juggling around the pedestal. I'm not really sure what's happening back there. I'm watching the top and the scoreboard's going all over the place. Retrograde is able to just back this one up. Thought they had a window of opportunity, but had to slow this one down. Finally gonna be able to clear this one out. 2v2 checkpoint is cleared, and these two teams are fighting for control of the Rainmaker.
Yeah, I could definitely see the vision with the tent umbrella. After you get the pop, you just release the shield and start moving forward. We see the shot from SplatSCAD trying to find a pick, get some going. As we see the tent and the Dread Ringer on the side, the Orange Kois have their specials ready. And as we see, we see the trade with the tent. And as we see, Never Lucky's in mid trying to find the blaster, but unfortunately they cannot. The range blaster has such a long neck in order to find those great picks. And as we see, SplatSCAD is going to break the checkpoint. It's checkpoint for checkpoint. We see a Kraken moving forward. They need to be careful. When this Kraken runs out, they're going to be in a very vulnerable spot. And they do go down. But we see SplatSCAD taking the lead, but they go down to the Reef Slider, but the Reef Slider goes down, and last one's just a splash on SplatSCAD. And I think, this push is over.
I commend the all-in approach from the Kraken. They thought that they had a good look there to get the kill and possibly extend that push. And they said, screw it, pushed all the chips in and fell a little bit short. But nonetheless, Smalley was able to keep themselves alive in order to make sure that their team didn't get put into a very disadvantageous position. And now this push is actually going to resume right where they left off. So Crescent picks this one up, brings it down to 32 points remaining, gonna push it 3 more points, and that's the wipeout. They do take 2 players down with them, so Never Lucky has to push up ahead, start painting, and the Splatlink's gonna come behind here and start getting a little bit more paint down. So it looks like they're going to actually let this Rainmaker reset and focus all of their efforts on getting a little bit of ink control back. Here comes the reset now as we speak. 2 minutes remaining, and the Orange Kois need to get this pop and start getting something moving. They do have the 2 specials online to work with, but SplatSCAD going to have 2 more of their own online here soon.
Yeah, I definitely think it's possible for the Orange Kois to get the lead. They have a Kraken and they have the Ten Umbrella, but they just need to make those 2 work together. We see the Ten Umbrella with Zuka. They're ready to rip it. There goes 1, there goes 2. 3, you're out. I always want to make that reference. And as we see the Tents in mid, we see the Kraken in mid from SplatSCAD trying to rush down these members of the Orange Kois. This 10 is being so far pushed back in their base. The custom range blaster finds 1. They might find the next one. They do find 2. Can they make it 3 with this Dreadwinger pushing them? They can just, but the thing is, they can just rip the Reef Slider at any time that they want. As we see, great trigger discipline, they had to push back because they know the rest of the SplatSCAD was going to come for them. And we see the Dreadwinger finding a great pick on the shot. That means that there's no Zuka. That's one less special that they need to worry about when they start pushing.
And Mute, with those trip strikes, there's 3 more specials online for the Orange Kois. They're going to go ahead and start to full send it here. The Reef Slider comes up a little bit short, but that's still going to help them find 2. Nobody's grabbing this Rainmaker. Neutral's going to go back for it now, and this is going to be the Orange Kois stand here in game number 5 to take back the lead, riding the waves of the Tent Shield. They are able to push up to 32. They need to push this 2 more feet. Go push forward. There we go. They finally get it. A huge lead now. 5 points remaining. 30 seconds to play. SCAD now trying to just find something, give themselves 1 more opportunity to push this back. 20 seconds to go, and SplatSCAD Orange needs to take this Rainmaker coast to coast if they want to get the lead in this set and prevent RIT Orange Kois from mounting a momentous comeback.
Yeah, man, Orange Kois, when they were approaching that lead, I was getting kind of nervous the way they were just weaving and dodging. It felt like I was constipated trying to get the poop out. But now as we see SplatSCAD, it's just like last time when they had to make a humongous lead. But as we saw from the last game, they timed out, and we're not even going to see SplatSCAD get close to exploding. RIT Orange Kois is just going to be like, let us do the honors for you. And they take game number 5.
Mew, I That is probably the most wild analogy that I have ever heard, but it also kind of makes sense. Because I'm like looking at this push here. It's everything Orange Koi's had going into this push was just bound for greatness. It was bound to get this lead, but Neutral just being maybe a little bit overly cautious. The tent shield got stuck, and they did not feel comfortable pushing in front of that tent shield until they knew their teammates were going to be able to be there for cleanup. I think regardless, they were going to be okay. They just needed to get the lead, and they did ultimately get that, plus a whole lot more, and ran down the clock at the same time. So I think ultimately it worked out. But if you were an RIT fan for about 5 seconds here, you were just saying, oh my gosh, please get it across the line. Please get it across the line. And they did. It paid off. RIT now on top 3-2.
Yeah, it's looking kind of rough for SplatSCAD. I think you had like a really great start at the beginning of the set, but now RIT Orange Koi's surging back, taking a 3-2 lead. It definitely is possible with these last two maps as we're going into the next one, Scorch Gorge Clam Blitz. The last time they play, the last time they, the Clam Blitz on Inkblot, it was the Orange Koi's that won, and it was honestly kind of convincing. They just played really good defense. They really held SplatSCAD back, and so I think I wouldn't be already count. I'm not counting my chickens too early, but I think it's going to be an uphill battle for the SplatSCAD Orange team.
Yes, it certainly is. Because now you need to win these last two games back to back, high pressure situation, Scorch Gorge Clam Blitz on deck. So that is a really tough map mode to swing the momentum back in your favor. This is one of those types of map modes where the team that already has a little bit of that momentum, it tends to run away with it. So uphill battle indeed. But if they can find a way to push back here and even this set up one more time to force game 7, I really like their odds going into splat zones on Mahi Mahi Resort. But you gotta take it one at a time. So for now, it's again, we're just gonna go ahead and roll the Sheldon's pick challenge, as we have no clue what these teams will bring out, because they've brought out probably about 24 different unique weapons through these first 5 games. So
yeah.
So I don't know what is to even come on this one. I really liked the 10th pick out of the Orange Kois in that last game. I thought it did them wonders. I would like to see it make a return, but they also did really well, bringing out that Dread Ringer. And I mean, SplatSCAD's brought out a Dread Ring at this point as well. And it's a guessing game. It's everything's worked a little bit for both of these teams, so it's kind of like roll the dice on what you think the other team's going to run and how you can best counter it.
Yeah, this is either gonna be the end, or we're gonna go into a very, very stressful game 7. But right now, it's just SplatSCAD just needs to just lock in and just do what they can in order to stop RIT Orange Kois from closing out this set. And as we see, not too many weapon changes, and this is the first time we are seeing a Snipe Rider in this entire set. Can you believe
I didn't even think about that, Mew. You are so right. That is, wow. All I'm gonna say is that the first 5 games were a lot of fun, and there was no pencil to be seen. So, SCAD saying now, okay, it is time to embrace the meta. This is probably the most meta composition that we have seen so far this set, with the pencil T-Tech, and I guess the Dread Ringer can be like an off-slosher type thing. But even then, I think that's a bit of a stretch. So far though, it is going to be SCAD that does pick up the upper hand, getting those 2 picks on members of the Orange Kois. A trade going to be going on in that nowhere land, the corner of the map. Joryu finding another pick as well. So it's all SCAD early on who maintains the slight advantage of map control and picks and specials. But will they be able to convert this into a push? Because that's one thing they really struggled on in game number 3, Mew, was that being able to get control of the clam economy and score.
Yeah, and as we see the cooler coming out, that means that everyone on SplatSCAD is going to start pressing on the brakes. We see the pencil saving the T-Tech from imminent doom. Price strikes coming out, forging a way for SplatSCAD to score the opening clam, and they get another power clam, and they're getting more of these baby clams, and it's 51 currently. A really great opening push, and it's not done yet. As we see this pencil, they have 3 more. They're safely retreating. They know that they're down right now, and they do not want to go. They do not want to stagger. And as we see, unfortunately, some jumps coming in from SplatSCAD, not the safest jumps, but the pen does get away unscathed.
Orange Kois with 3 specials to their name. The Zuka coming out, finding one, trying to find another, not going to be able to do so, but it's going to be the Paintbrush that comes in to find the second player. 2v2 situation, and somehow the Paintbrush is the last one standing, but the Paintbrush is going to find 3!
Oh my goodness. Wow. I think that was just a really great individual play. And as we see, RIT Orange Kois have a bit to go through, but there is 2.5 minutes left in the game. Even though the lead is down to 45, I think if they could just find a few good wipes and stagger the members of SplatSCAD, they will be fine. The carbon does go down. Let's see what this Paintbrush can do. They can't find the Dreadringer sitting on the ledge. They don't want to do their best Humpty Dumpty impression and fall off. And as we see, they are now in mid playing with the rest of their teammates. The pen is sitting on the ledge. They find 2, they find 3. I think SplatSCAD might start pushing again. And they took out the Zap. What expert team play. And as we see, they now have a ball. They're ready to push. They have Reef Slider. But they're just going to wait out the Zuka. The Zap goes down. They just come back. But unfortunately, they don't score.
Yeah, and that's been SCAD's problem the entire set, is I think they feel like that Orange Kois get back into action a lot quicker than they do. I don't think the team was coolered up coming into this potential push. So SCAD's finally going to hit the gas on this one. Donkey with a nice double, and here is the scoring opportunity that SCAD was looking for. And here comes the Zuka from Donkey as well, able to find another player. Donkey taking over this game now, and the clams continue to pile in for SCAD. SCAD ready to force game number 7. 3 clams remaining, but never lucky, trying to bring their team to the set win here, trying to stop this push. 1 minute remaining. The basket's going to close for now. Orange Kois with a minute to go, plus possible overtime, to pile in 94 points. That is an uphill battle if we've seen one, Mew. And SCAD has said, what uphill? This is actually just all downhill from here. We're ready to coast.
Yeah, I mean, 94 points is a lot of points. I'm not going to lie to you. As we see, SplatSCAD is just having a lot of trouble getting into mid. This Paintbrush from... oh, wait, no. Sorry. RIT Orange Kois is just playing neutral right now. Kibri House is trying to find something right now. They do find the Dreadringer. We see the 10 attack with those triple aim strikes sending into mid. We see Kibri House finding one onto Donkey, but unfortunately they took out the S-Blast along the way. We see the Zuka coming in trying to find somebody, and it's just hard. They need to make a power clam. They do have the pity, but I feel like you would need a lot more power clams than just one in order to even start chipping away at this lead, and now we get into overtime.
Overtime now in session. About 15 seconds for the Orange Kois to get a power clam in, but they're gonna lose 3 players.
Oh
and
my
SCAD
goodness.
forces game number 7. This will go the full distance, folks. 7 games for both orange teams. I mean, call it the Orange Bowl at this point, because these 2 teams are putting on an absolute clinic like it is a college football playoff match.
Honestly, this is just some good-ass Splatoon, if I may say the ASS word on this stream.
You get one. You get one, Mew.
We saw the SplatSCAD on Clamlet's Inkblot really struggled to play, Clan Blitz. I think maybe maybe it's not their strongest mode, but I thought it was not their strongest mode. But as we saw here, they just held Orange Koi's down. They saw their backs were against the wall, and they were like, all right, let's lock in now. We see Donkey, everyone on SplatSCAD was playing such like great teamwork. They didn't allow some random RIT Orange Koi member to find a pick onto any one of them in order to halt their momentum. We see the paintbrush trying to hop in, trying to find somebody, and I think they found the Dreadringer, but fortunately another member of SplatSCAD was able to clean them up. And I think this really just shows, how well that both of these teams have been playing from like a chemistry standpoint, because these are not, just some team that formed like a week ago. This is a very established team. I've seen both of these teams before in previous seasons, but this is, man, I just think this can go either way. And honestly, I'm excited to just commentate this, because this is just really good.
It really is a privilege to be able to commentate this set. I am thrilled that I think for the third time in like just over a week, I am now commentating a set that is going the full distance. So I guess I need to continue to commentate more, because every single time I think I'm at a 75% rate of full distance sets in this Ludi/CCA season.
Wow. That's a lot, I think.
It's a pretty high ratio, given that the amount of games that go to full distance in both Ludi and CCA is hovering around 20%. So it really is a privilege to be able to get another Game 7 here with you, Mewtwo. So I'm excited. It's going to be Splat Zone's Mahi Mahi Resort. We know these teams can play every single weapon under the rainbow. Sheldon is in shambles at this point, trying to figure out what other weapons these teams could reasonably pull out. So I am excited. This is going to be a thrilling finish. I just don't think there is a way for us to reasonably predict anything going into this game number 7, because every time it feels like something is going to favor one team or the other, they change up the compositions, pretty much switching out almost every single weapon, and then the momentum flips in the exact opposite direction that we think the set is going. So throw out the notes, Mew, because there's no, I don't know what else we could reasonably say.
I never had any notes. I just walk in to the commentary booth, I do my thing, and then I go back into my little hole, and then I just, I kind of cry a little, and then I just move on with my day. But, as we see, and, as we're finally getting into this Game 7, it's been a pleasure commentating with you, feeling each other, like how these two teams felt each other, and, in Game 1, like you were saying. And, oh my goodness, it's a Rapid Blaster Pro Deco.
I was gonna say, Mew, the question coming into this one is, what hill are these teams willing to die on? And the hill seems to be the Rapid Blaster Deco.
Yeah, sure. I think I could see the vision. And as we see, the RT Orange Koi's goes one down immediately, but SplatSCAD Orange responds with a teammate down on their own. As we see, the Rapid Blaster Pro Deco does go down. We see the cooler coming out. We see the bucket rushing down that pen. They don't want the pen anywhere near the zone. As we see, but the zone still goes into SplatSCAD's favor. The bucket, just escaping by the skin of their teeth with those triple ink strikes ready. And the RIT Orange Koi's are like on the back foot at the beginning of this game. This Carbon can shark underneath the ledge. They find one. They might find two. They don't! But the Dreadringer is forced to reef slide on the side of RT Orange Koi, so they cannot get the insta-cap. And as we see on SplatSCAD, no, never mind, the Dreadringer just goes down, so they can't even use their reef slider as well.
Oh my goodness. The Orange Koi's somehow flip that one. The ink strikes coming in now for SCAD to try to flip it back, but not going to be able to do so. They're a trade out favoring the Orange Kois, who now are hunting for the lead. SCAD in a stagger here. Donkey trying to take out Neutral, able to do so there, but gonna get called out by Retrograde in return. 3v3 situation, but Orange Kois are pushed up, hovering the ledge, and the Dread Ringer comes in with the Reef Slider to neutralize the zone, but it wasn't enough for a flip, Mewtwo. Joryu trying to hold down the zone, not able to do so either. Donkey and Smalley trying to continue to hold down the fort, but no, the zone continues to be Orange Kois. Donkey coming up with one, not able to find the second, able to do so in a trade, a 2-for-1 opportunity for SCAD, and SCAD now trying to flip the zone, but Orange Kois with the trip strikes keep it going.
I think SplatSCAD needs to go in there now. The Dreadrunner goes down, they lost their Reef Slider. The 10 attack has their trip strikes, but it's being hunted down by the Rapid Blaster Pro Deco. I guess the RIT Orange Kois are going to die on the Rapid Blaster Pro Deco hill as they knock out. The RIT Orange Kois are going to win this set in a nail-biting 4-3. And, wow, yeah, sure.
All I'll say is that it really felt like special coordination was such a focal point for both of these teams today. And it felt like SCAD folded under the pressure a little bit. They'd been so good. Like, they had some of the best special coordination all set long. And Game 7, I think the pressure just mounted a little bit because it felt like the trip strikes were offline. The Dread Ringer was just slightly off. Like, SCAD had a couple of good looks, but they didn't have the follow-up. And they became a little disjointed. And that's all to Orange Koi's, respect there. They're the ones that forced them into these awkward situations. The Orange Kois did such a good job of keeping SCAD staggered that SCAD basically reached a point where they said, hey, we need to just start making these individual plays. And Orange Kois said, be my guest. We'll be here. We're going to clean up the zone no matter what you throw at it. And it was just such a good play by the Orange Kois, holding down the front line, keeping those ledges in check. SCAD's pencil just felt like they were out of the equation almost the entire game. It was just really fascinating after what was a very back and forth, first 6 games other than the SplatZone's Manta Maria match. But I mean, Orange Kois, they really showed that, hey, SplatZones, you're not going to take us down. We're going to dominate you every single time.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. I might just have to kiss you for that one. But, I think as the time approaches, I think now is our time to step off the mic and let other people take the reins. So right now, I think this is our time to wrap up, but please stay tuned. We still have some more really good matches for you right now, but I think Mr. David, I can't say the nickname I gave you, RF. Where can the people find you if they want to find you?
You can go ahead and find me at Twitter, DRF_Splatoon, Blue Sky, DRF-Splatoon, and on Twitch, Triton DRF. But per usual, you can find me right here on the CCA channel covering all things Collegiate Splatoon. Mewtwo, how about yourself?
I'm not going to plug anything out of any of my own socials, but you can follow my TZS teammate Krakenmare, who is currently streaming their Ludi match. Week 2, they are 1-0. Go support him. You could pull up both the CCA and his stream at the same time because I want to promote people that actually need people to go watch them instead of people like me who who just doesn't care about social media or having a presence. I just I beg.
You show up and disappear.
Yeah, no, I beg to be a part of the CCA commentary, but there's just so much good talent that it's hard to find. But they just I know they always have tears in their eyes when they don't let me on the commentator booth. But it's been good. It's been real.
You're one of a kind talent.
Thank you. Me and DRF are going to go feel each other up in private as the RIT Orange Kois and SplatSCAD did during that first game. And Thank you all for watching. Stay
Oh,
tuned for
man.
more CCA.
VCU Central Michigan coming up next. That's going to be a good matchup. You're not going to want to miss it.